key that needs to be generated? Live on YouTube. Okay.
Yeah, and I have the key. I have all that. I'm just gonna see if maybe because it says setting up my meeting for YouTube Live, and I'm seeing if it. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we have that going to, let me see, analytics, video. Okay. Yeah, first it's going straight to live, but it's not going on that one, on the specific.
Oh, it's not going on the channel that you
on the
designated
specific
for it. It's just going to the, yeah, I was kind of wondering if it would just go directly to whatever channel it is.
Well, what we're gonna do really quick, I'm going to the dashboard and I'm seeing if when I'm going to the live studio and seeing if there's some way to fix that. So I'm gonna do that, just letting you know what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. I guess it's a little bit more challenging than just doing Facebook, sounds like.
Yeah, I thought that it would. Okay, type streaming software live now. Okay, but that just put me there, and I'm wondering if I can switch it over.
To the B and yeah, because I know Christian wanted me to send him the link. So when you figure out which one it's going to be, I'll send it to him so he can.
You know what? I guess since we have 8 minutes, and I have us on paused on live.
Okay. Can you share that? Can you share that in the chat?
Yes.
The link?
Yes,
so
I can.
I can get it to.
Yeah, that way we can just post it out real quick. I think let's just do it that way.
Okay.
Okay, so let me get that.
Chance, how are you doing, man?
Doing great.
Awesome. Awesome.
You hear me okay?
I think it's fine. I mean, if you had a little bit more light, that would also be fine. But if that's not a possibility, like I wonder if you took that lamp behind you and put it in front of you and turned it on, if that might add to some visual enhancement. You know?
Yeah. Oh God.
Oh God, don't. Did it in the living room with the lamp stick.
Okay, there we go. Okay, I'm tossing it in the chat now, dear. This is the video link. We're already up on there. So.
Okay. Cool.
And so here we go. There it is right there.
Noise, we say. Noise.
Noise.
Noise. All right. Let's
you want me to send it to your IG chat? Would that be easier for you?
No. Thank you, though. No. I'm gonna change it up because I put the old link on Facebook too. So not that really like nobody pays attention to what I do on Facebook, but just in the event that somebody does.
Yes, they do.
Like I ain't got no MF love on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? Nobody pays attention. Actually, it's funny though, because I never like really go on there, and I'm just seeing like all the people who actually did say happy birthday. So there, yeah,
you get all the love.
There you go.
Okay, I'm about to change my profile to, or the link on my Instagram to this one, and then I'll do it on Facebook too.
Is there any way? Oh, okay, cool. So if we go there, then we can share it out from. We can share the live as we start to go live too.
You get all love.
There you go.
Okay, this one I'm gonna. Oh, that's a good. What do you mean? Like just share this link right straight away on Facebook?
I think it's live right now.
Did it not pause? I thought I paused it.
It's not paused. It's live.
Oh, well, that's okay. Anyone that's here gets to see the back. This is the holy shift, folks.
This is the truth behind the high production value. This is what your dollars are really going to pay for. Every time you donate to the fund of transformation, this is what your what our hard-earned dollars are going to. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. Our blood, sweat, and tears.
What's that? Blood, sweat, and tears. Blood, sweat, and tears. Who else is gonna put this lipstick on my face? You know what I'm saying?
Hey, one of these days, one of these days. But I think this is our first YouTube live stream, guys. The show starts officially in 4 minutes. We are going to just finish making
cheerlead before we go live now.
What's that? What's that?
We have to do our normal incantation that we do before we normally go live. You know what I mean? The one where we'd like do the blood thing and
oh, that's true. Where we do the smoke sacrifice and all. You're right. Yeah. You're right. No, we'll have to keep that for next. We're just gonna have to go in blind this time. We're going in. We're going in raw. We're going in raw and uncut.
Oh my God.
But what we will do is what we can do is once here we get started, we will set our intention with you all, and then this is behind the scenes footage that's coming straight to you.
Never been even experienced before, quite frankly. So
never exactly. Exactly.
This is about as original as it gets, y'all.
It is. And do you notice how there's no point in freaking out? We got to start somewhere. Better to be, hey, at least we're doing it, man. At least we're doing it. And
doing the thing.
Chance, our guest, is going to let us know. I'm sure that he's having an inside jolly old laugh at us.
Chance, you look amazing. I can see your whole face now.
Yeah, I was two-faced before.
Love it. Oh my gosh, should we you want to lead us off, Michelle, in a little intention?
Yeah, we may as well just get it going. I'm just writing our names on the title since I'm redoing it.
People want to know.
They got to know.
These amazing cutting edge transformationalist manifestors over here.
Okay, and then I was gonna and then Chance, did I say your last name Ragan?
Yes.
Okay.
Entrepreneurs by day, AV technicians. Production.
Okay. Yes. Hey, man. It gets real out here. It gets real. It's real. Okay, so there we go. Okay, I think we're set there. Okay, so you know what, and we may as well just stay on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're not. Chance is not going anywhere. We're not.
You're not going. We were gonna do we're gonna do the scene change and all that, but you know what? We just coming in hot.
I know your contract only had you for 45 minutes, but we're not paying you the extra 15. Okay, I hope
that's fine.
Cool.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so yeah, let's can you hear me okay, or am I coming in muffled or anything?
Loud and clear.
Okay,
yep.
Fantastic. Let me know if can you hear the bowl? If not, then we won't go with it.
Ooh.
Is it coming in strong? What about over here?
Is it coming in strong on your end?
Is it on my end?
Is it?
That's what I'm saying. It's kind of weird how this picks up. So we're not going to go there.
Okay.
We are. Okay. I got my.
Still pre-showing. 30 seconds. 30 seconds to curtain, y'all. 30 seconds.
Is that better? Still not?
A little bit. I mean, it's not super loud, but let's get it started. It's 7:30.
Yeah, we'll get started. That's okay. I was trying to do extra, folks, but you know what? We're just gonna go with the good old breath and the good old word. We're all going to speak out our intentions, because they say that in the beginning was the word. So we're going to speak out. You're going to use your voice and I'll use mine. And that way the sound, there's no denying, the sound will be loud and clear. How about that? Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, great. So let's take a deep breath in. And then deep breath out. Deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Just a couple more. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Breathe in the information and your intentions. That's fresh information we're breathing in. Hold it for a minute, hold it up in your brain, let the new information disrupt your molecules up there, and then breathe out the expectations. Any express out, I like to say. Okay, so now that we can go back to our original rhythm, find your way back to the beginning, we welcome you to the Holy Shift. Today is the first day of our live on YouTube. So we are so happy to be here. It is me and Alexa. We've got our incredible guest Chance, who is going to be sharing with us how he's had 0 bad days in over 8 years. And his energy was just so light and fluffy as we were seeing our way through getting the set up today. So I could already see why, just to have a glimpse of how he's able to maintain that energy and shares it with others. So how amazing. The Holy Shift, we have come together, and the reason we're coming to you today is that Alexa and I have been going through a recovery journey for the past almost year now, and we wanted to create or to hold space for creativity. This is a creative lounge for people to come and share their wonderful insights, to share their pain, to share their joy, to talk about their struggles. And, you know, we hope that you take advantage of the comment section. If you have any questions, haven't figured out how to read along right now, but
next week.
We'll do that next week, but we will come back in afterwards if you have any questions or comments, and we'll take a look at those then. We hope that we can inspire you to use your creativity and your heart and your soul and just get going, because the world just needs people that are not afraid to just open up and be messy enough, or care enough to be messy at first, to get their love and heart open to the world. So that's why we're here today. And Alexa, I'd love to hear from, look at how gorgeous she is.
Yes, she is.
Right?
Yeah.
You just had a birthday?
You know what, folks? I did. I had a mega birthday. You know, I'm 60 years old. I know it's amazing. I really have been taking like impeccable care of myself.
It's those rituals.
No sugar.
Yeah, all those rituals that we like to do before the Holy Shift. Yeah, no, I mean, I will say it feels like a big moment. It feels like a transition. It feels like hey, I've a little bit arrived, and I've got my stake in the ground, right? Like I'm here. I've been doing this for a while, and I kind of feel like I know my way around the sandbox at this point. And you know, there's always more. But it's been really awesome. Like this last couple months have just been so much work on the inner stuff, like going back and doing the work that I thought I had already done like 100 times. But it's like, I finally feel like I got to the bottom of doing the work, like where it really starts from, the foundation, and just have been rising on that this last month, especially. And I'm like, it's a good day to have a birthday. You know, it's a good week to be 40. So there you go. So here we are.
What a blessing.
I'm feeling good.
What a blessing to have gotten to the milestone, because we're both the same age, and to have felt good about it, you know, because I mean, there were a couple months ago where I was kind of worried about how I was going to feel on that day, right? So I'm so happy that it met you in a great place, that you rose to the occasion.
Yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, similar. So I was really resisting it for a little while there, and I was like, actually, you know what? Like, age is nothing but a number.
That's what Leah said.
Yeah. And you know, if you are really rocking and rolling in what you're up to and how you care for yourself and how you treat others, all interconnected, then I really don't think that we have to turn into these old people that their body is breaking down. And, you know, sometimes it's weird to run into people from high school or old acquaintances and you're like, how old are you actually? Because you look like my dad almost. Like, what actually happened? My friends, like, we were the same age 20 years ago. So Yeah. So, but with that, but so anyhow, yes, milestone. And I want to introduce our friend Chance here, who is coming on to rock and roll with us. He's been flowing with ease and flow. And, funny. So Chance and I have been friends online for like the past, like he started kind of calling me out on videos that I was doing on Instagram probably about a year ago. He was like holding me high. It's like, you said you were going to post every day and then you didn't post every day. Like, I gotta call you out on that. And I was like, look at this cocky man. But I got
all
it.
from
Like,
here.
yeah, I got it. I was like, yeah, he reminds me of myself, like I'd call somebody forward like that. And I really appreciate it.
That's real love, that's real appreciation. Like,
yeah,
Ragan,
totally.
bro, I was looking for you.
Totally. And come to find out, which Chance, I truly apologize, but turns out that we did transformation together 8 years ago at MITT. And we were in the same team. And honestly, I had so much, shenanigans going on in my head at that point that like, I probably saw out like 10 feet in front of me because I was like so anxiety ridden, and my life was, I'm not the same person that I was then or vice versa. And so when he mentioned that, I was like, oh, that makes sense. Like, we're super connected, actually. Like, we did a really powerful experience together. And so, yes, you definitely have the authority to like call me out on social media.
Now, where did you guys do that? Was that?
That was out in LA.
So that's like the Mecca, right? That's like the Mecca of the transformation. I mean, is it?
Transformational hub. I think they kind of went through, I'd like to get your perspective on this, Chance, because like my sense is that they sort of went through like a glory period, like the golden era of the same transformational trainings that I'm involved in now was happening out in LA at that time. And of course it's the West Coast and it's LA, and there's always going to be more brands of transformation out there. Like, right. It's just a freer kind of a vibe traditionally, but I don't think that the center that we went to is like, I don't think it's like all the amount of people are going through the trainings out there anymore. Do you know anything about, let's have Chance. So that being said, Chance is an amazing man. I want him to introduce himself. He's a relationship builder. He is a speaker. I just caught an awesome Instagram reel of him yesterday talking about relationships. And so Chance, I would love to give you an opportunity to say a couple words.
Okay, great.
Welcome.
As far as, what you were saying with, that being the hub, or if it's like as great as it was whenever we were there, I'm sure that a lot of programs like this, I know there's one in Washington, I'm blanking on the name, but I imagine it was a challenge for everybody to do this, to like change it to this, and having those like profound experiences through a screen. I can't imagine going through what we went through like this.
Yeah.
That was a pretty major turning point, for me. And, a lot of times when folks, if I bring up the big fish, right, for me, that is, I haven't had a bad day in a really long time. It usually is a point of controversy. Folks will usually be like, what happened? Did something terrible happen in your life and everything's been good since then? And it was like, no. And then they're like, well, did something amazing happen in your life and it's just been hunky-dory since then? And that is not the truth. Both of you know, and like the way that, Michelle, you said that you were going through like recovery, and that's like an ongoing process, just like personal development is an ongoing process. Alexa, you were saying like you've like found the bottom of the sandbox or whatever. Well, it's never done. The work is never done. Sure. Even for the experienced and knowledgeable folks, they still They're not like, I know everything and nothing can affect
be.
me. I have no insecurities.
Wow.
And so for me, having the intention, I was telling a gentleman today, he said, you know, well, I'm not dead. You know, oh, it's a good day because I'm not under the ground. And it's like, I don't look at it like that so much. But I don't take my days for granted. For me, it's not, I have good days and I have bad days. It's, I either have days that I'm grateful for or I don't have days. And so it's hard to feel bad about your day whenever you're like walking in gratitude.
Mhm.
That's powerful, Chance. Wow. Can you break that down a little bit more? Because I felt like, I mean, what you said was just so profound. And I'm like, am I understanding what he means when he says he has days? You have days or you just don't have days. So you mean, can you, and let me just not even put words.
Can you
yeah.
enlighten us a little bit more? Let us into the inner working.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the way that I see it is, you know, it was back then. It was back then around 7 or 8 years ago that I decided I had learned a little bit more about perspective, and like, you can have a perspective on your day. You can have your perspective on a relationship or experience, and a lot of that stuff, a lot of that information that I learned about perspective and how to shape it, and really how to shift it, right? How to shift your perspective. There's plenty of like, to say that I'm a half, like a glass full person is an understatement. You know, I have friends that truly love me, but they're like, you're drinking the Kool-Aid, man. You can't have that many good days at a
You're
time.
right. Yeah.
But I have.
You're saying that the work has been in the perspective shifts and really
Yes.
interpreting things differently, and then checking yourself when you're noticing that you're not in gratitude, and really making a very conscious decision to choose love and choose gratitude. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, and there's a couple more ingredients, you know, like whenever you are going into an experience that may be undesirable, there is a question that I ask myself, and I get this from my angel. He said, who am I going to be in this moment?
Mm.
Right? And so I'll tell you, like, in the past 8 years, I've experienced heartache. I've lost many friends to drugs and alcohol issues. I've lost family members. And so, like, it's not that I've been lucky. And a lot of people ask that question, like, well, you've just been incredibly lucky. No.
Like, no, not so fast, huh?
No, Friday, I'll tell you, like, as far as like what's going on currently,
Yeah.
Friday, I totaled my car, and today I gave it away to the insurance. And that's usually like a very, very like day ruining thing for people. And again, who am I going to be in this moment?
It's a powerful
question.
It's a powerful question. Yeah, and then for those watching, can we explain what an angel is? Because I mean, I'm sure he is a real live angel for you, and also he's a human being. So what will you enlighten everybody as to what an angel is?
Yes. An angel is someone that introduces you to the program over there at MITT. And it's really a blessing to have someone care for you so much to be like, look, this thing changed me in a positive way, and I love you, and I want you to experience some part of that. And so that was Cody. Lot of cool. I was living in Louisiana at the time. Now I'm in Colorado, and I live with Cody.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, best friends, huh?
Yeah. And so we've gotten really close, and there's a lot of amazing stories about like impacting people directly. If you'll indulge me, I can tell a really great story.
Yeah. Love
Please,
it.
Okay.
please. That's where
So
we're all ears.
during this program, I was at a pizzeria with Cody, my angel, and we were out there, and I was on this really important phone call, and my phone died. I went in and I'm asking Cody questions. Hey, you know, do you have this person's number? Maybe they can get me in contact with that person. And we went through the whole rigmarole, and he was like, look, I think the best way that I can support you is if I bring you to your house, you can charge your phone and finish the conversation. And so I said, okay. But before I did that, before we left, I looked at this gentleman. He was like sort of in the way, you know, sometimes there's a bar and then there's, you know, the opening to the bar. This man was standing right there, like at the entrance to the bar where servers are going in. And I was like, I gotta tell this guy that he is in the absolute worst spot in this whole place. Like, hey man, you're in the worst place to be right now. And so I was going up to him and had full intentions on being like, hey man, move. But instead I went up to this guy, and I'm like a really huggy person. And so I just like went in, arms out, and this man, he hugged me.
Oh,
he hugged me back. He
Wow.
hugged me back. And he said, did we have a moment while I was hugging? And I told him, I said, just because I don't know you doesn't mean I don't love you. And I felt his body just relax in my arms there. And he's like, oh man, that's beautiful. He said, I think this whole place deserves to hear that. I said, I think you're right. And so I backed up and I said, excuse me. Got the attention of everybody in there. And I said, with conviction,
that's right.
Just because I don't know you doesn't mean I don't love you. And what happened next, you would never believe. But this entire establishment, the employees, the people, they had about, I mean, it was a small place, so they had like 30 people. But there was like a couple people that didn't get up, but everybody got up from the bar. They got up from their table. They got up from their stools. Everybody got up and came to me. And we had a little bar group hug.
That's right.
And look,
That's
Cody was tickled, and I was in the middle of all of it. And he looked at me and he's like, look at you, leader. He said, you've inspired love and connection between absolute strangers.
Wow.
That's beautiful.
Holy shit. Holy shit.
I know we might do the Wu-Tang. We might come up with the holy shit. That's the holy shift moment.
Yeah. Oh man.
That is the holy shift moment. That's beautiful. Wow. Wow.
Awesome. So then
I love that.
So then every day forward, you kind of, you know, had spontaneous hug parties, or this is how you've kept the good vibes going? I'm sure that was a peak moment.
Make sure to get my, yeah, I try to, I make an effort to get my daily hugs.
That's
you know,
right.
They say, what is it? Like 6 hugs minimum.
They say a minimum.
It sounds like some sort of science or something.
I'm like, I'm way anorexic on my hugs, I think. And yeah. I get to get
now, where'd you get this chance?
It was around the time. There was a time whenever I was in college, I was in a fraternity. I'm a frat boy. Surprise, surprise. But not the typical fraternity. You know, I'm sure most frat boys would say that. But I was part of a music fraternity that was all about, you know, it was all male fraternity. And so it was like a moral and upright man of music, right? And one day, it was around midterms, and we did this thing where we went out and we were playing music. We had like djembes and guitars and stuff, and folks were walking around campus, and you could see the stress on people's face from midterms. And we were giving out free hugs. And this was like before free hugs were cool.
Before the
and
sign.
so like, Yeah. And so like we're all out there, we're giving hugs, and I've been hearing about that day since. That was,
Isn't that beautiful?
yeah. And whenever that day happened, yeah, that's whenever I did research on like the benefits of a hug. We made little signs like, hey, like a hug can help you focus. It can increase oxytocin production in your brain and literally make you more happy. Like I'm that person that like, hugs entirely too long, and all my friends know it. Everybody knows it. Every person I meet knows it, because I am like, if I can bypass that handshake, I'm going straight in for the real thing.
Go ahead.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I bet you give an amazing, like not too hard, but just very like very held, and just like you're like, I've got you. I've got you. Very grounded, loving.
Ask Summer.
Ask Summer. Okay, I will.
That's so important.
For those of you who are watching, Summer's my sister, and we also did the same transformational training together. So Chance and her had a couple more months to get closer. So yeah, absolutely. I love it.
I think that's wonderful. And gosh, there's so much to unpack from what you said already so far. And it's powerful. I mean, I think, hopefully the people that are watching, as I'm inspired by listening to you already, hopefully people that are watching are thinking, when I have that feeling to just to declare my love for someone or for people, just because you don't have to have a reason to love someone. I love that. I think a lot of times we talk ourselves out of loving people these days. It feels like our society has that going on for itself, like I'm not going to love you because you don't agree with me, or because, we're not on the same side of how we perceive things. So I'm not going to love you. I'm not going to give you grace. I'm not going to love you anyways, even if there's no good reason, but just to love you anyways, and that's a shift. That is a holy shift. So I definitely thank you for sharing that. And I just think that it's a super important, I think also something that you said, Chance, that really, that got me is the perception, you understand, you not saying that I'm toxic positivity or whatever, that, that there's that word that people have said. Have you ever heard that, Alexa?
No, this is the first time hearing it. I'm like, really? Are you serious?
Yes, there's a phenomenon. They call it toxic positivity because it's what they're referring to is just like having the blinders on. No, I'm okay. No, there's a car running over me.
Well, that's called denial. That's actually
why are we, Alexa? I first of all love that, because why are we making up new words for stuff? What is just called? It's called denial.
It's called totally out of touch with reality. Yeah. Okay.
I'm totally with you on that. But they call it. They're also calling. So if you hear that, that's usually what they're talking about.
Thank you for unpacking that, because I'm like, this is new. All right.
Yeah, toxic positivity. But it's like, no. So Chance, you're saying, and what you're saying, because you're saying, I understand. Think easy come, easy go, almost, in terms of emotions, and in terms of how we see things, but what you're saying in terms of how you how you decide how you're going to show up in every day and every moment. It reminds me of something I heard a few weeks ago, where they were saying that that what you do today can actually change your history. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not just impacting your future with the decisions that you make, but you're also impacting your past. So I kind of feel like when we think about that, and when we think about how we're going to show up today, then how we show up today, it can turn yesterday's horror story into the victory story. You know what I'm saying? Because we decided to plant ourselves on solid ground and so now now it's a comeback story, which makes the past story not so tragic. Does that make sense? Am I making sense?
Absolutely. When it comes to our feelings, we are absolutely time travelers. because we can have pain in the past that we resolve in the present.
That's
awesome.
right.
That's awesome.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious, Chance, what have you noticed shift in your world from, because you said you still have circumstances, you still have life show up, you still get in car crashes, you still have breakups, there's still things and feelings and circumstances to move through. But since you really started to choose to love consciously, and make that really, sounds like one of your core values, what have you noticed has opened up for you in your circumstances and also just in your life in general?
The way I describe this to people is that since I've been intentional about having good days, right? It's almost like I've learned the power of intention, right? And so when it comes to the circumstances of my life, you know, as humans, we can move mountains. We can move mountains with our intention if they're strong enough. And so having the intentions on, you know, I'm gonna have a good day every day. And it's not that I'm not open to the possibility of there, you know, me having a bad day, but good, bad day, it's all a matter of perspective. And for me, like focusing in on intention, it's almost like, and this is absolutely not factual, but for me, it feels like all the things that I want to happen in my life happen. There are so many things that happen in my life that I don't want to happen. But I have no control over that. I don't have any control over what does happen, but I have control over my intentions. And so it feels like whenever something happens in my life that is desirable, like, yes, that's exactly what I wanted. It feels like, yes, thank you. Thank you, past chance. I say that all the time.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And were you, I mean, I would imagine that your overall levels of happiness and all of that has just amplified now that you're being intentional about it. Because I would imagine at some point you were not so intentional. It sounds like years ago you were, you know, I don't know what the version of you looked like back in the day. Were you ever a super moody and judgmental type of a person, or were you generally fairly happy-go-lucky, but just not necessarily being so conscious with your intention and your focus?
Well, I've always been kind, but that doesn't mean that I haven't been manipulative, bratty. Like one of the big things with me was like, I was gonna be right no matter what. Such a big thing, like to let that go, to be able to say, you know what, from here on out, I don't have to be right. And for some people, that's really not a big deal. For me, it was a game changer because being right put strain on my family relationships, on my romantic relationships, my friendships. All the things in my life were affected by this I need to be right mentality. It's setting like what you were talking about before the meeting, Michelle, the difference between like intention and expectations, right? I don't make expectations. Me and Cody, we have a term for this. It's haikoashi, and it's a Japanese term. It doesn't exist. It's based off of this like snack called hokayashi. And we just needed a word for this idea, right? The idea is, I would ask Cody, hey, how was that thing that you went to? And he's like, you know, I didn't set any expectations, but if I had, they would have far exceeded.
Wow.
Nice.
Haiko, okay, I like that.
Now, can you say that word again?
Haikoashi. So it would be HAIKOAHSHI. Haikoashi.
Nice. And this is a coined term that you
This is a coined term.
I love it.
because I don't know if there's an English word for that, you know?
It sounds legitimate. I mean,
Is that so? It's not a real word.
they made it.
It's not a real word at all. You cannot find it.
They made it in Japanese,
Love it.
which is amazing.
And I love that you made it Japanese. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. That's love right there.
Very innovative. Yeah, it sounds like going with the flow, setting best intentions. I mean, I would have to, so this is my hypothesis, and maybe this is like the Western version of, the mindset coming in. That's like, I feel like if I choose to have a good time all the time, a good day, and I'm the bringer of love, that I feel like my circumstances are going to get better. So I would I really am, I do want to dial in a little bit on what you've been able to manifest through that, because I would imagine the version of you that's bringing like this open heart and like awesome, fresh perspective to things probably is opening more doors than you used to in the past. What do you think? Is that a possibility?
Yeah, that's definitely a thing. Whenever, oh man. Well, around the time where I was like, okay, bad days are for the birds, and shifted, there were strangers and folks that I knew that were like, what's going on with you? You are just glowing. What's going on? And I got that for probably, 2 or 3 weeks. And then it just became the new norm where folks were like, well, that's just Chance. He glows.
Hey, man, Anunnaki. The shiny one.
Yes. And so we immediately were like, let's make some change. Whenever I was in LP, which is the legacy program, it's the final stage of MITT's traditional little track. We had this idea to create like an accountability group. And this is when like no one had ever heard of a mastermind, like masterminds were under wraps, and like only like rich people could have access to be in a mastermind or whatever. And like coaching was less popular, especially in the South. And so we built this program. It was called the Goal Setting Group. Very simple. And it was just folks. It was whatever you wanted to use this group for, face to face. Folks would show up, they'd share their daily, weekly, monthly goals. And like, this is my thing with goal setting. This is going to be a digression, but indulge me. When you set a goal, it's in here. And, you take that goal and you make something physical out of it. And that's step 2. Right. And it's a powerful thing. People that do dream boards and people that make little vision boards and stuff like that, that's a powerful thing. And even just taking it and writing that goal down on a piece of paper, that is a powerful thing. That's step 2. Step 3, that like really solidifies that goal in your mind, is sharing it with someone.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more.
A joy shared is twice a joy. A sorrow shared is half a sorrow.
Oh, isn't that beautiful? I love that. That's real. That's real.
Yeah. So that group ended up growing to like 130 members, and it created profound change for people. And that was like just like that. We couldn't have known that it was going to be that, because it was just us at first. It was just me and Cody. Just him mainly staying on me about, hey, you said you were going to do this,
But that's the value of a group and of speaking it out, isn't it? To have that accountability buddy being like, hey, bro, like you was doing to Alexa. Hey,
totally. Call me first.
It's like
you're not doing the thing. Yep.
Yeah, that's powerful though. So did you guys meet weekly, or I'm curious if you don't mind?
Yes. Yes, it was.
I don't want to digress too long, but
no. It was every week. Every week we met, and it was usually a thing to fit into a small space. You know, we never had more than like 12, maybe 15 people ever meet at the same time.
Right.
But folks came in and out. Some folks, they used this as like a group that was free, that the whole thing was free of charge. We didn't charge anybody anything. And folks would just appreciate our time and show up, and they'd have like some really heavy things to get off of their chest.
Wow.
And not everybody has circles on circles.
Meeting.
Yes, yes.
Like, but
to
like,
be like,
not
hey,
based on addiction per se.
Exactly. Just, I mean, sometimes it was addiction to negativity, but
right.
But it was great. It was a great outlet.
It's so great. Yeah, I've honestly thought about starting some groups that are based around just that, because people, day-to-day people don't have an outlet. Like in certain respects, like I'm super grateful to be an addict, because I have a group that I can go to as much as I want and talk about whatever's flipping me out when I need a mindset shift. And one thing that's true about addicts, in my experience and my experience of myself and other addicts that I know, is that our minds, and the human mind is this way too. Like once it gets trained on something, it can be really challenging to shift it, but especially the addict mind, it's like, you got to have something to interrupt it and create a new neural pathway. And obviously connecting with others, getting out of your own stuff, getting out of your way is such a powerful way to do that. And it could be cool to do that with a group of people that aren't necessarily trying to get off of drugs or alcohol, because it's like everybody has real world problems. And to a certain degree, that's what this space Holy Shift is all about. And I'm sure that more will come from this as well, as we continue to hold space every week. But it sounds like it was really powerful for you, Chance, you and Cody, to put that time in with the consistency that you did.
It felt good.
And like to Alexa's point, so where she was saying earlier, so that was that one of the first fruits of your new roots, the fruits of the new roots?
Yeah. Yes. When we did that, that was one of the first fruits. And I think at that time I was very involved in music. Like I said, I was in school for music, and whenever I was done with school, I went on with this group and was playing jazz clarinet in New Orleans and on the North Shore.
Clarinet is a beast, man. Yeah,
it's hard.
Skill. Yeah, you gotta have like that whistle.
The embouchure. The embouchure.
Yes. Oh wow, that's a $7 word. Okay.
What did you call it?
It's the embouchure. The embouchure.
The mouth.
Oh,
yeah, embouchure.
Okay, I like that. I never heard that one. Okay, sorry.
The facial muscles. Yeah, but I was doing that, and part of that was, I walk around with like, you can choose love or fear. And I heard you say this love or fear thing, just putting everything in your life and that decision, that choice, that, well, am I going to walk in fear? Am I walk in love? And that means love for other people. That means love for yourself. That means love for whatever circumstances are in your life. Like, okay, I'm going to be grateful, and sometimes it takes telling your brain, like it really, like, your brain, like your reticular activating system, your brain wants to find evidence that makes what you tell it real.
That's right.
And so if you tell yourself every day, like, oh, I'm a failure and this is never going to work, man, well, you're just gonna, you have a brain that's like working to make that true.
Yeah.
And so that wasn't part of my life at all. Telling myself like, you're great. I was actually working really hard on not being cocky and arrogant. Like, arrogance was a huge, and I mean, come on, it still shows up every now and then, but
Being right?
Eric,
What?
no,
Sign of arrogance?
yeah, like arrogance is a old friend. I don't know if I would call
The old
arrogance a friend.
paradigm.
Yeah, it's part of me, you know.
Yeah.
And it's
Escape.
just
It's an escape of sorts, would you say? An escape
yeah.
escape of like looking head on at something, or just being open enough to be wrong. That, I mean, that's basically what you're saying, you know. What Alexa's
usually
saying brings you back to the right or wrong.
When I'm sorry. When I step into arrogance now, it's usually when I am insecure about something. And usually that's, I'm insecure about, you know, oh my God, is Michelle gonna know that I'm an intelligent person? I don't know. Or like, oh, do I sound stupid talking to this person?
Right.
Because a lot of they see like, oh, you're from Louisiana, but you don't sound uneducated. And I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yeah,
somebody said that to me today.
I'm like, but you do. No, it's kidding. You know, like the person that said that. Yeah, I know, but you kind of do. So maybe we.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? Anyway.
Yeah. But telling yourself the opposite of those other things, you know, telling yourself that you are great, telling yourself that you do love yourself. That's one of my biggest affirmations ever, and I don't think I'll ever let go of it. And this is actually from a documentary called Forks Over Knives. I can't remember the name of the doctor, but she said to go into the mirror, look yourself up and down, and tell yourself, I love myself unconditionally right now. And then just wait for the voices.
Wait for the voices.
Oh, wait, sorry. I ruined your train of thought. What are the voices?
The voices are the insecurity.
Like the committee that's like, now you're not.
Oh, the pity committee.
You are, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Well,
how can you love yourself?
Let's have a moment of, I'd love to say that, because I kind of failed on, I acknowledge my failure of having everyone say something strong about themselves. So maybe whenever you all feel is, you know, fitting, we can say some, maybe you could give us some incantations to speak out.
Oh, some affirmations?
Yeah, some affirmations.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we could have that be the closing meditation, that we just give some affirmations.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that. We could just say right now while we're here, I love myself unconditionally.
Right now.
Everybody say it.
I love you unconditionally right now.
I love myself unconditionally.
I love you unconditionally right now. I love myself
unconditionally right now.
Right now.
Well,
okay.
Well, yeah. You know, it's so interesting, Chance, because like, so letting go of this need to be right, the need to look good, the need to control, right? I mean, like that's what's essentially called for when we're getting right sized and we're you know, saying like, okay, God, or what, you know, universe, God, energy, like I am not the center of the universe, and like things are not going to go exactly the way that I think that they should go, right? This humility. It can be so interesting right in the moment when you got to make the choice. You've got that choice right in front of you. Like, am I going to do the loving thing, or am I going to do the asshole thing, which is like, feels better. It's like a short-term gain for a long-term pain. You know what I'm saying? But then if you could just like take a moment, really just like hold your words, hold your reaction, and like take a couple deep breaths. It's like, it's going to pass. You're going to feel different. But honestly, I still struggle, Chance, with all of this self-development work. Like when I'm really triggered, often I make the choice to just say the thing anyhow. And it's normally on a small level, right? It's not like, I'm not like screwing anybody over or something like that, but like, and I get triggered much less than I used to get triggered. That's the other thing. But I do have a few of those moments here and there that pop up, and I make the choice, like, I'm feeling it, and therefore I gotta do the thing that my knee jerk, you know, like that my ego just needs me to say right now. And so I'm curious for you, because it sounds like you've gotten really good at not doing that thing. Like, do you feel you probably sleep better at night? Can you tell us some of the benefits for those of us who are still struggling with this a little bit?
Alexa, I love you. I just want to say, like, thank you for keeping it real, because I know how you feel. All right, Chancey. Yeah, that's. I'd love to hear what you say too, but I just had to.
Well, I'll tell you. I love honesty, right? And I'm a big proponent of honesty. I haven't told a lie in even longer than I haven't had a bad day. It's been about 11 years. And I would be lying if I sat here and was like, I'm perfect, I never get triggered, you know, because it happens. You know, I think that I used to drive for a living, and boy, road rage is one that gets a lot of us. And that's like a really common place for folks to lose their shit, right?
Yeah.
But I got really good at that, and that sort of rolled over into different things, you know, not getting worked up. There was this what was her name? Krista Petty. Alexa.
Yes.
Krista Petty. She had this thing. She's like, if somebody cuts you off on the road, then just put your hands up and just, yes. And it felt weird to do that, you know, to like give like a positive, like, all right, you know, like that person almost caused an accident, you know, like. And so there are times that I do like choose the low road, which would be like, I don't know, passive aggression about something small, or I don't know. I think that's why I've sort of shied away from being on social media so much, is because, you know, everyone in this country has been sort of like, this is right and this is wrong, and this is wrong and this is right.
Unhealthy.
And I just can't, I don't want it, you know, I don't want to be a part of that conversation.
Yeah. It's
so
counterproductive. It's really counterproductive in my experience, because if it is what they say it is, you know, and I'm one of those, you know, we go all the way to the universe, to the holographic universe and all this. If that's the case, and we do have a choice, like you said, of love or fear, then wouldn't it behoove us to think above that and to be creating what's possible in every aspect of our life as a collective and in our individual lives? So we can't get caught up in this right or wrong. It's, to me, I always call it, Chance, I always call it the tree of life, or the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. That's what I think it really boils. I think that to me is how I interpret that, is that duality. Do we choose life? Do we get to live? Does everyone get to live? Do we hold everyone high enough to get to live? Or are we going to eat from the tree of who's right or who's wrong, the knowledge of good and evil? Not a good plan, you know? That's the way I look at it, you know?
You are absolutely right.
I still do. You know what?
I agree. I
was gonna say,
angry about it.
The truth is that I still get caught up in those conversations too, on social media, because they are hard. It's hard. It's easy to drift. That's what we're fighting. They say, the drift.
Yeah, I mean, I think what has been supporting me through, what's been supporting me through choosing the high road versus like the momentary, you know, endorphin rush that I would get from being a jackass, is, you know, is more spirituality, more deep, intentional, intensive meditation. Like that's been very powerful, more cleaning of like old stuff, but also, just loving myself more and being easier on myself and being easier on the situation, and just noticing how often when, like, if I have that need to be right, it's normally because I've been, all day berating myself for not doing enough or not being enough, or like whatever it is, like I'm in some sort of a scarcity conversation. And then it's like, I don't really have that additional cushion of energy that I need to sort of like give back to my, give myself a hug or give the other person a hug. It's like I'm like too tight on the margins of energy that I have. But it's like it's like almost like a relapse, you know what I mean? It's like I took the first drink, but there was all this stuff that led up to the first drink. And like most of the time when I'm acting out, or like when I'm really like angry, or not choosing the high road in those moments, it's because there's like these ways that I've been like not giving myself what I need in some respect, or just giving myself a lot of grief. And then it's like, well, I don't think highly of myself in that moment, or I certainly don't think highly of the other person either, right? It's like I have to make myself feel better, I have to like get a one up on the situation, versus just being like, you know what? I've been good to myself. Like the world is still going to turn. Like I'm not in charge of all of it. Like it's interesting. It's like the psychology that precedes like being an asshole. There's like things that lead up to it, really, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Do you feel, oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask Alexa, and do you feel like you were saying, when you are able to get into that place of, hey, I've been good to myself, the world is cool, do you find that the more time you're spending with yourself, with those feelings of love and acceptance of yourself, that when you're in those situations, there's no need to maybe?
Yeah, it's like I'm not all amped up on like fear of things not being okay, right? Like, because I've been seeing things be okay. I've been experiencing like, oh, well, if I don't have all the answers, it's okay. Versus like when I'm in that space of like, I can't be wrong, because like if I don't have all the right answers, then I know I'm worthless,
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. That's so much pressure to put on. And I think people, and all of that is essentially just like wounds that haven't been healed yet. Wounds that haven't been healed yet. So
I agree.
Amen to doing the healing.
And I love that. I love, there's no better feeling than just feeling like, damn, all I got to do is love myself and heal my own shit. If I heal my shit, then I don't see the world, and I don't have to judge you, or I don't have to be right, like you're saying. That really feels like that. You know what I mean? How do you feel about that, Chen? I feel like I cut you off earlier. I hope that's not the case. Because I love what you got to say, man. You're awesome. I get asked Alexa, I get hype man. I'm like a hype man. Like, I'm like a hype man in the background. I'm like that little John, or here's it, Little John. I'm like, what?
Well, I'll say this. There's folks in the personal development space that are like, hey, being a good person is just like building any habit. You just got to do it for 24 days and you're good. And I don't believe that. I think that like taking the high road, like we were talking about, and it doesn't matter if it's small situations or big situations. It's sort of like whenever you're trying to create lucid dreaming, like if you want to like lucid dream, I have a friend, every time that he walks through a doorway, he'll give a little tap on the door frame. He's a giant man, and so he'll tap the top of the door frame every time. Tap, walking through, tap. And so the idea is, whenever you are in a dream and you go to tap the door frame and your hand just goes through the door frame, then you start to realize, oh, I'm in a dream right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And
wow.
So it's a lot like that. Whenever you are put in situations where you have like, oh, well, I can choose love right now, and I can like keep this relationship untarnished, or I can like choose fear, which might look like anger. It might look like disrespect. It might look like any of those like negative things, and it'll tarnish the relationship. Okay, so it's not like building a habit. It's like lucid dreaming, where you check yourself in those moments. Check yourself over and over. Check yourself, and just like make that a habit. Make checking yourself a habit.
Yes.
And so whenever it comes to choosing love or fear, it becomes easier and easier to choose love over fear.
I think it's good.
That's
Check yourself.
beautiful.
Always got to be checking yourself. And then there's, you know, those of us who in the past have been obsessively checking themselves, right? To where it was like, okay, you got to stop focusing so much on yourself. Like just straight up, you need to focus on something other than, you know, your personal awareness. Like that's been a thing for me in the past, like where it's like almost like too much self-awareness, you know what I mean? And that's also getting into your heart and really just being a giver as well. Like, you know, choosing to give the hugs, because it's not really about how interesting you are. It's about how much people know that you care.
Yeah.
And I love
I've heard.
Go ahead.
Oh, and I was just gonna add, people say that if you want to be interesting, you just have to be interested.
Curiosity, man. You know, being curious of life and of others. And I know we're coming down to our last few minutes, but I wanted to say that one of the things I think that I feel like maybe I was hearing you say, Chancellor, that it at least it brought up for me in what you were saying as far as like the high road and honesty, you know, that taking the high road and, you know, like they said, if you just want to be positive, then it's just 24 days and do it and you're good. Well, the high road is not always being positive. I mean, it's not having the hard conversations, you know, it's not being honest. The high road is honesty. Those are sometimes the hardest conversations to have. And I believe that if we lean into those moments of being able to be honest with our conversations from the jump, even in those relationships, like choosing love doesn't mean to be quiet, you know, and not to address the things that need to be addressed. You know what I'm saying? Choosing love is actually to speak the truth.
Yeah.
And do it with love. And I think sometimes in those moments we can, you know, when we do that, we're actually giving the relationship an opportunity to live or, you know, to flourish if that's the direction it's going to go in. Otherwise, it's just fake. You want that, you know?
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Authenticity.
Toxic positivity.
Toxic positivity. I've heard that a lot, by the way. Toxic positivity. Oh, man. It's been thrown plenty of times. You know, you're in delusion, Chance. You know, life is not that great. And I'm like, no, it is. I promise. It really is.
Yeah.
And
oh, God. Mindset.
Yeah. And I think that like having those hard conversations, whenever you're in a relationship, I think that like relationships grow like this, right? They don't like, maybe you have like a special relationship that's just like, yeah. And so whenever it's time for you and a friend to have a hard conversation, usually there's like a little dip. And then whenever you have that conversation, it goes up twice as high. And then you might have like, a bump in the road. And it like our relationships strengthen through our honesty. You know,
and
being
I
honest
love
with
that
the
you
people.
said that. I love that you said that too, because we get to be aware that it's gonna hurt. You know, the hurt may take us aback. You know, they may, you know how they say, I was taken aback. Well, maybe that's what that means. I'm taken aback for a minute. Let me step back, look at myself, and then you give space for it to now go so much higher because you took that time, you gave the space. So I just love what you're saying, man. So true. So true.
I mean, we even have conversations that are hard with ourselves, you know, I do, where it's like, where I'm like, hey, you are operating below your potential. It is time to do this. It's time to, you know, like be your word, like step into integrity. Where I look at circumstances in my life and I'm like, I deserve more than this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
100%. And then it's like, okay, well, what am I doing to cause these current results? Because clearly there's something in the gap there that I can take responsibility for and ownership of and transform, which is so awesome. Because otherwise we're just at effect of everything.
Yeah,
We're just
gotta be real with
puppets in
yourself.
the play.
Gotta be real. Gotta be real. Oh,
Alexa, thank you. I want to just say thank you for saying that. You know what I mean? That is so true. That is so true. We get to.
oh no, Michelle.
We get. It's a blessing of taking responsibility, of realizing that we get to do something. That's what I was getting at. When that was the first thought, that okay, if something's not working, I get to do something. Thank you for presencing that, because that's the truth. It's us. We do get to do something, and it is something for us to discover about ourselves. So I just wanted to say that was awesome.
Yeah, and Chance too. And yeah, thank you so much for being on and sharing you have such a calming way about you. Like I had imagined that you would be like kind of more loud and kind of like intense. And maybe perhaps because you have two loud and intense women on the Zoom with you, you're offering a different frequency there. So, but regardless, it really works. And you know, your wisdom is amazing and your energy is fantastic. And I'm so glad to see you stepping more into your purpose and your vision to really support others, because you have a lot to give and a lot to share. So thank you for sharing with us tonight and everybody who watched.
Absolutely. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Is there anywhere, how can we find you? How can people find you? And you feel free to go into the live later and, you know, put your information in there too, because we want to make sure people can get back to you. What are you offering? What you got for people?
You can find some stories that are on chanceragan.com. I do have a Facebook page. That's wonderful content there. That is facebook.com/TheChanceRagan. Instagram is also The Chance Ragan. Clubhouse, The Chance Ragan. Everything's The Chance Ragan.
Simple.
Love it.
Simple.
Awesome. Great. Well, thank you for being here. Thank you, Michelle. It's so good to be on Zoom with you for another holy shift.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. I think we have a moment of we got a nice frozen Michelle right there.
Yeah.
Can you see her properly?
No.
She's the only one who can turn the live off, so hopefully she'll be back. She'll pop back on. Actually, yeah, I'm like, I don't know if anybody can turn this off.
I'm so glad to be here.
Oh, I'm stoked to have had you. This is so fun. I mean, I knew right away when you were on the you know, the old stream. I was like, oh yeah, Chance gets to come on and share, because I just have the feeling that you had some greatness to sprinkle on everything.
Yeah.
But
I don't want to just deliver value. I want to like. No, go ahead.
I don't know if we can. I wish